Welcome back. We are now on episode 5 where I'll cover types of birth charts. But before that, I want to also let you know that from episode 5 onwards, the actual fun will start. You will actually see a lot of examples, a lot of exercises, and it gets very exciting from here. But provided you have got all the planets by heart, you've got all the zodiacs by heart, and you know all the houses where they belong. If your basics are not good, you'll be lost in this episode. So let's start. So you saw the birth charts. I had given some samples. So I was just showing the North Indian type, but there are three types: North Indian, South Indian, and East Indian type, which I'll cover. There are many more types of charts within Vedic astrology, but I'll stick to these three. And out of these three, I will focus on the North and South because otherwise it gets too complex to go through everything in every example. And mostly I'll focus on North Indian, but some of you who are more familiar with the South Indian type of birth charts, you all can just start following that. And if you need me to make certain slides with those, I'll be happy to help you. Okay, so let's look at the North Indian chart. This is how it looks. It's got these squares and triangles, and it's shaped in a simple 12 house view. So the graphical view you are a little bit familiar because I've shown it in examples, and I've already told you this is house 1, house 2, house 3, house 4. And this house where I've shown A in the beginning slides, it's called Lagna Ascendant. You're already, I hope, familiar with this, but if not, now is the time to start getting familiar. So North Indian charts, what you see is houses are frozen. This will always be house 1, whichever chart you see, wherever you see. And zodiacs change. So this here the number actually could be, remember the number 3 in my episode 1 or 2. So the number could be anything. It could be 1 to 12, any zodiac, any zodiac. So you may get confused between the houses and zodiacs because both are 12. But just remember that they are different. Houses are just referring to these spaces in your birth chart. Zodiacs are the numbers which you will see in the birth charts. And the house from one to another goes in anti-clockwise. It goes this way. That's an important element. So that's the North Indian chart. Let's look at the South Indian chart. How does it look? So first of all, it's very colorful. The way I represent it, of course, you won't necessarily see it like this when you refer books. But how is it different? You see, the zodiacs are frozen. This will always be Aries, this will always be Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarian, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. But the houses will move. The house will number how the ascendant will move. So in this case, the ascendant is here. Sometimes it's indicated by two strokes, sometimes with ASC itself. So house number 1 is here, 2 is here, 3 is here, 4 is here, 5, and so on. House numbers go like this. So it's very simple. In the South Indian zodiacs, zodiacs are frozen, houses change, and ascendant moves based on where your house number, wherever ascendant is, that becomes house number 1. So it may get a bit confusing, but once we do a few examples, you will have it very loud and clear. Eastern, I'll just touch upon it. I will not refer to it simply because I don't want to cause too many complications. Already, it's a very intense science. So it's very similar to the other two, but it's a blend. So here, zodiacs are frozen and houses change. So zodiac will always be Mesha here, Vrishabh here, Mithun here, and so on. And ascendant could be any one of them. And wherever ascendant is, if the ascendant is here, that becomes house number 1. So I've given a comparative view here. This is the north looking chart, the south and the east. North one, if you remember, houses are stationary. South, the house will move where your ascendant is, and east again is similar to south. Wherever ascendant is, your houses will be. Accordingly, house number 1 onwards, it starts. Rashis in north, it moves. So Rashi could be anything here, depending on what your birth chart eastern side shows, and from then onwards, like if you are born in number 4 or Cancer, then this becomes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on. And in this case, in the south one, Rashis are always like this. They are stationary as it is. So this will always be number 12, and this will always be number what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, and so on. Okay, and this again is very similar to the south, but only thing is in the south you move this way for the houses, and here you move this way. The clockwise and the anti-clockwise changes. So you may ask which one should I use and what should I do? Well, I use both because when you refer to the books, it's easier. You can choose one and just stick to it, and then, but you should know the other if you're referring a book, how to interpret it. Let's see some examples. If you see this chart, if you see a chart like this, and if ascendant is here, this is house number 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. But the zodiacs remain constant. So this will always be Aries and so on. So if you're born in Cancer, then this will become the ascendant. And house number 1 starts from here. Let's take another example. So here the ascendant is number 9. This person was born when on the eastern side the zodiac was number 9. So his house number 1 starts from here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. But the zodiacs will remain frozen. This particular person was born when the zodiac was number 12. That means Pisces was on his east or her east. And so here this author has marked it with 2 strokes, but this is the ascendant. So this is house number 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. The numbers here are what are physically here are just the zodiacs. Let's compare the two. Now this is the north chart, this is the south chart. You see this is number 9 here, and here he didn't have to say number 9 because by default this is zodiac 1, zodiac 2, and so on. So this is zodiac 9. So here is the ascendant. So the ascendant is 9 here also, 9 here also, but see the house has moved here, but the house has remained stationary here. Okay. Another one. So this ascendant is number 6. When you translate it into a South Indian one, your number 6 comes here. And here is the ascendant. But rest all these two kundlis are exactly the same. This is just a way of representing it. So if you like do not choose right now which one you want to go for, it can get a bit confusing. But over a period of time, when you start practicing a bit, you'll get used to it. Another example here, this kundli is or horoscope is with ascendant 7. This is house number 1. Here ascendant 7 is here, right? As you remember, this is a frozen zodiac kind of a structure. So number 7 comes here, so this becomes your ascendant. If it's still not clear, you can send a message on the comments and I will again try to explain it more specifically. So exercise for you this time is please practice south versus north birth chart to get comfortable. I guarantee you there are books written only with north charts, there are books written with only with south charts. So it will be helpful for you to have a feel of both. Teaser. Why is the south horoscope in my presentation so much colorful? Is there a significance to these colors? Well, answer is yes, and significance we will understand what it is. See you soon.